Fuck.
We are live. YSM Sports Media. I'm Jamil Parker. This is my favorite white boy, aka aka favorite Mexican.
Oh yeah.
Introduce yourself, B.
What's up? It's Brandon. Gonna get on this boxing. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk this talk.
Okay, I love it. All right, so B. Recently Terence Crawford comes out and says Canelo Alvarez is shying away from black fighters. All right, now full disclosure, this whole topic is going to be a race topic in boxing. All right, so if
All right.
anybody's watching, we're going to discuss does race and style coincide, and do certain fighters avoid certain fighters because of their race and their style, right? So I'm African American, and Brandon, go ahead.
I'm Mexican and white. Ha! Whatever you want to call it.
Just for full disclosure, so won't nobody say that we bias and this and that. So it seems like we're covering American boxing. I guess the only thing we're missing is a Rican and a Cuban guy.
A UK dude, maybe.
Well, we actually have a UK guy with us in YSM Sports Media, but he's asleep.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, it's like probably like 2 in the morning over there, or 3 in the
yeah,
morning.
my man Craig Ward. All right, Brandon. Let's start it off with, was Terence Crawford right about Canelo Alvarez? Go.
Um. Well, the thing is it's like this. Canelo's flat-footed, right? So he doesn't want to fight guys like that are gonna move and that box like that. You know what I'm saying? That's always been his kryptonite, sort of speak. But the thing about it is, right now in this time, there's nobody in those weight classes where he's at 160, 175. Those weight classes are they don't have pound for pound talent. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So the guy that people are speaking of that can actually beat Canelo, he doesn't exist right now. You know what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean? I understand people will be like, oh, a guy like Floyd, he wouldn't be able to beat a guy like Floyd, but there's not a guy like Floyd that exists between 160 to 175.
mm.
There's Charlo, but Charlo don't fight like that. You know what I mean? And it's just like a lot of people they get offended or bent out of shape and this and that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, they're soft and they can't have a conversation without getting too emotional. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is a specific style that, like, it's like we talked about it. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, a Brit fighter, right? The UK fighters, they get they get beat up by Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? Because a UK fighter's tough, got heart, but you can't out tough and out hard a Mexican. It's
Mm.
just not gonna happen like that. You know what I mean? I'm trying not to sound biased. I'm not trying to, but it's always there's a style or something that you're gonna struggle with. You know what I'm saying? And a typical Mexican brawler, flat-footed, plodding fighter, straightforward, is gonna have problems with a guy that moves. That, you know what I'm saying? The moves around the ring. It's just the way the history is and the way it goes. You know what I mean? So is Canelo ducking guys? I mean, I don't know. It's a bit of a stretch, but the thing is, it's like now you can hide behind a promoter. You can hide behind an organization. You could hide. The WBC can make it can make it can make it sell for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
I don't like Haney. I don't. It's not that I don't like Haney. I just don't think Haney's all that they make him out to be right now. But, like, they just basically made him like, okay, Haney, you're not gonna get a shot. You know what I'm saying? Charlo, you ain't gonna get a shot. You know what I'm saying? When Canelo was at 160, I don't think Canelo's ever going back to 160. But I don't know, man. It's certain stuff that comes into play. You know what I mean?
I feel you. Let me get to the comments real fast. Devin Williams, we got light heavyweight Devin Williams in the building. Um, MMA fighter and trainer. Is this really a question? Yeah, man, because a lot of people, Dev, a lot of people don't understand that you fight based off of where you from and what gifts God give you. And that's environment that has something to do with race. So we're just gonna lay it all out on the line today. What about Demetrius Andre? We're gonna get to that, Jeffrey. We're definitely gonna get to that. Salute to you, Jeffrey. All right, so for me, B, right?
Yeah.
A lot of guys took it as a racial comment. For me, I didn't. I related it to styles. And like you said, black fighters, now not all of them, but the majority of them, especially from the East Coast and Midwest, have a very, very slick style. And it's predicated on a lot of foot movement and a lot of upper torso movement, right? We're going to make you miss. We're going to move around, give you multiple different angles, right? So in that regards, Canelo Alvarez has struggled with that style, Erislandy Lara, which the Cuban style is an adaptation of the African American style, and Floyd Mayweather, right? Early in his career, Canelo looked like he had really slow feet. We called him stone feet. And now, towards the end of his career, he looks like his feet had gotten drastically better. But okay, has his feet gotten better, or is he fighting more stationary fighters? Now,
his hand speed improved a lot. His hand speed got a lot faster.
Now, what I was told, I'm from Philadelphia, a lot of Philly guys went to spar with Canelo Alvarez, and he slowly started to pick up the East Coast style from them. Pooh Ennis, that's Jerron Ennis's older brother. He actually beat Gabe Rosado. Carl Dargan, decorated amateur. I think he's like 18-1.
Yeah, I know who that is. He's good.
Yeah. So I think that was for the Floyd fight. I'm pretty sure either one of them was for the full fight or both of them was for the full fight. So he picked up some things. So now he's the slick guy when he's fighting these stationary fighters. And I don't think he wants to face that slick style. I think he'd rather be the slick guy and use the movement and be the fast guy because it's easier to shy away from punishment. As you see him against a dude like Abney Yurdam, Callum Smith. Can't really say Triple G because Triple G kind of touched him up a little bit. But the biggest difference is what's the dude's name? Erislandy Lara and Angulo. Around the same time, 2 back-to-back fights, right?
Yeah.
Looks like night and day.
That's what I was talking about earlier. Look at the difference in both fights.
Yeah. You brought that up earlier. Night and day. So matchmaking is important in boxing. And I feel like right now Canelo is doing quality matchmaking. He's picking guys with names and great records whose style matches up well in regards to his, not well as far as the matchup.
Yeah, because then it looks like these guys are accomplished. So then it looks like a great win. Like on paper, Callum Smith's a great win. It's a Ring magazine. You know what I mean? It's a great win. But bro, ain't nobody thought Callum Smith was gonna beat no Canelo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hold on, we got somebody that want to hop in. Yeah, so it's all about matchmaking. He's going to pick the guy with the best record who fits his style, that gives him the advantage. And I don't think people should have took it as race. I think people should have took it more so as just stylistically. So stop calling it a race comment. Certain styles work better against certain styles. Like you said, the Cuban style works well against the African American style. Mexicans be trashing UK fighters, man. It is bad. African American style works well against the Mexican style or whatnot. So for every style, there's something that's to the contrast that just works well.
Yeah.
Canelo Alvarez.
It just tripped me out that it made it such big, huge news. You know what I mean? Like it's the biggest story today, and that kind of just tripped me out for me. I mean, like it's not that big of news because for me, I don't think Canelo, and I'm not, mind you, I'm not no Canelo fan. I'm a certified Canelo hater. I do not think he can get knocked out. I do not think he can get hurt.
His chin is ridiculous.
His
But he
chin
can
is
get outboxed. If Canelo's gonna lose, he's gonna get outboxed, and you're gonna have to skate around his
absolutely,
ass.
absolutely. And you saw that. You know, it's funny that y'all talking about this. I just got done watching the Triple G and Canelo fighting the second one. And what a lot of people just won't give Triple G credit for was Canelo press, but we have not seen somebody moving backwards, touching Canelo the way that Triple G was touching him. He's boxing the shit out that boy. He boxed the shit out of him. We're not gonna do that.
He said we not.
First of all, far from biased, far from stupid. I just watched this fight. This is literally the sixth time I watched this fight.
We talking about the second fight or the first fight?
The second fight.
The second fight, Canelo put on a masterpiece. Y'all crazy.
All right, here. So look. You get out jabbed. He making you miss. He countering your shots. What more do you ask for somebody? Canelo was able to.
I thought Triple G came on late, like the 9th, 10th round, but he just came on too late. Like after 7, 8 rounds, I had Canelo up 6-2, and I hate Canelo. But Canelo was faster, and he was.
This is what it was. Is that his shots didn't show the same type of effect that Canelo's was showing.
Yeah.
If he was,
but Canelo had the flashier combinations.
Right. And that's if you land, and I'm watching Triple G land 3, 4, and then 5 jabs to Canelo's 1. But then Canelo whipped 2 body shots. Even though the body shots is hitting the elbows, you can hear them motherfuckers going on. And judges don't know what's hurting. I'm speaking from a fighter standpoint, because only them two know who really won in there.
Yeah.
We can say all we want, but we don't know which shots is hurting what, because they both are the most professional in that class. Triple G ate everything
real fast. Give your background real fast, Dev.
Oh, so for people who don't know, I'm a certified ass whooper, pretty much.
Yeah.
I done fought since I was able to fight, and I got 1 loss ever. And I done whoop motherfuckers' ass in every sport you can think of. So there you go. But primarily right now in MMA, and I want Jan to get his ass ready. I'm gonna smoke that fool too. And I'm put this out here, Derek Brunson. I know you got a nice little win, but you know what's up. You remember back in 2014 when you was in Philly. You know, all right. I know you just got that nice little big win and shit like that, but you remember what it was. You know that day where my bad, bro. I can't do no more. I gotta go pick up my kids. That one. All right, let's just remember that one. Let's remember that one. I wasn't even gonna talk crazy, but I'm coming back now, so I get my little sound bites. But anyway,
Polo Sports salute.
But anyway, in terms of Canelo, Canelo's chin is ridiculous, and this is what people don't talk about Canelo. His composure. That's how he beating these guys. He beating these guys with his composure, because once he ate that Triple G shot in that first round where he whipped that overhand, I swear to God, he became a different person after that shot, because he know he got hit by the hardest puncher he gonna face. And he been walking shit down ever since.
Now, but Dev, I gotta ask you the question, right?
Yes, sir.
Was Terence Crawford right about Canelo avoiding the black fighter?
I'm not gonna say specifically that he avoiding the black fighter, because if you want to talk about the black fighter, you got both the Charlos, and they probably would have been the easiest wins in that division for him. They gonna sit there and try to sit there. They gonna try to be horses against Canelo. They don't get beat the fuck up. You got Jerry Hurd, who right there, he got beat the fuck up too. I ain't gonna say nothing on J-Rock. Well, what's the kid that beat J-Rock? I'm a little sleepy right now.
Julian Lynch.
Huh? No, the kid that beat J-Rock. Yeah, Asada, you got that strong ass little Mexican kid. What is he? Is he Mexican, right?
Nah, he's like Dominican.
Or Dominican, so he a nigga too. And so it just is what it is. He don't think he ducking black fights. I think he ducking specifically those slicker fighters that have the athleticism to hurt him. So you ain't gonna duck Billy Joe, because Billy Joe ain't got no power on the end of those shots.
Billy Joel can make you miss all day. You ain't gonna get punished for it. All he
But
gotta
Dev,
do
is there a slick guy that exists between 160 and 175? That for
the
me,
only
that guy don't
person,
exist.
the only person that exists is Boo Boo, but he ain't a puncher neither.
Yeah,
Like
I've
I'm
seen a little bit about Andrade, but I ain't sold on him at all.
look, and Boo Boo is a high. You know who Boo Boo is like? He's like his generation's uh Joe Joe Cal. No, is that Cal? Yeah,
Shout
Calzaghe.
out to the super chat. Thanks, baby. I appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? He an awkward puncher, high volume puncher. He a slick kid. He got good at reflexes, but he don't got the type of power to keep somebody like Canelo off of, because Canelo not gonna respect none of that shit. And
Yeah,
your
I don't
defense
like the
is
Billy
only as
Joe ain't
good
nothing at
as your
168
ability to keep
for
them
Canelo,
off of
man.
off. Like it's not gonna happen. The kid Canelo is too strong. His confidence is at a different level right now. And guys is his jab defense, people not giving him credit on his jab defense. Look at how many jabs he was getting hit with by Triple G, and then after that, no one has been touching him with jabs like that. Even when he fought Kovalev, who was sitting there pot shot from the outside, you saw him. Everything was either on sliding off the forehead, or he was just giving it, just like this, looking right off the shit, catching it right on the glove. His jab defense is A+. You got to be a fighter that can, to beat Canelo right now, you got to be a fighter that can punch. You got to be able to punch backwards. You got to have good jab, a variety of jabs. You got to be able to deal with his body shots. You got to have a hell of a gas tank.
But the goofiest shit I heard Canelo say is that I'm not fighting no Mexicans. To me, that's the goofiest shit he could have ever said. Because I want to see him and Benavidez eventually fight. Just because Benavidez is such a big ass dude. He's a 200 pounder trying to act like he's a super middleweight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I like
That's a lot of
Benavidez
swallowing.
Benavidez a good cook too.
I like the Benavidez fight.
But
I don't think Benavidez got the skill to be in there with Canelo. I think it looked good. It looked good the same way that Kovalev looked good originally. And it's once those body shots start connecting, that size get cut down real quick. He's not gonna be able to keep up with Canelo's conditioning. He's not gonna be able to keep Canelo off once the body shots start.
All right, hey Dev, real fast. Let me get to the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Shouts out to the missus for the caps for the Snapchat, or I'm sorry, the super chat. I appreciate that, baby. Appreciate that. $20. All right. Canelo is the Mexican. Porter got the most heart because he don't duck no smoke. I mean, true. Porter don't duck no smoke. Canelo is versatile. He can fight heavy or small. Hey JR, I just sent the link in the chat, man. So yeah, you can hop on whenever you want. Yeah, I think that for me, Canelo, right now he's just a full balanced breakfast, man. He's going to give you whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. But I do think that he could have fought Andre and he could have fought Charlo, but there was a reason. And the reason isn't necessarily money. The reason is he doesn't match up as well with them as a dude like
Wait, how does he match up well with Charlo? What Charlo bring to the table that's going to give Canelo a problem?
The big Charlo.
Big Charlo? Jab.
Yeah.
Size. Charlo.
Y'all think his jab is good enough to keep Canelo all set?
I think it'll be a competitive fight.
Do you think his jab is good enough to keep him all set?
Yes. Who do you think will be a more competitive fight? Colin Smith or Charlo?
What? Who will be against Canelo?
Yeah.
The only reason here's why I'm gonna say Charlo is just because the snap is going to be there a little bit more on the jab. Is it going to be actually a better jab? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's going to be a harder, quicker jab for the first couple of rounds, but I don't see it. I never saw that Charlo match. I honestly believe Charlo's probably going to be one of the easiest matchups they get.
I think that'll be actually a tough fight. I think Charlo and Andy will be a tough fight. And I also think
Charlo
Billy
and Beaterbeef's the guy I want to see him fight. I want to see him fight Charlo or Beaterbeef.
Yeah, that's at 175. I think Billy Joe's not going to be a walk in the park either.
No,
I think he is going to be a walk in the park. I think Billy Joe's going to be a stroll in the park for Canelo.
I think so.
He's in it, yeah. Like remember the Joker movie where he's like walking around, going down the steps, dancing. That's how easy it's going to be for Canelo. Like that. It's going to be like that.
Hey, real fast, we got the boxing source in the building. JR, what's good?
First of all, screw Golovkin.
Oh man, here you go.
Why do people hate Golovkin?
Okay, well, you know, me and Watson, we've been going about it for a while now. The thing with Golovkin is that a lot of people give him way too much praise when he hasn't really done that much in the middleweight division to pretty much warrant it.
But he did what he could do. A lot of fighters ducked him. A lot of promoters didn't want to make those fights happen.
I'm not sure about all that because
the only person that he ever, avoided or didn't sign it was Billy. Who else?
Not even that. I'll tell you one thing. He canceled the fight against Andy Lee. He didn't re-up that.
He'd have whooped Andy Lee. I love Andy Lee. He'd have beat the shit out of him.
I said, regardless or not, he didn't revisit the fight, though.
He didn't revisit the fight because he had a shot to fight Andy Lee on two different occasions. One, he went out of the fight because of what happened with his dad, and then second, he had a choice to either fight Andy Lee for the WBO or David Lemieux for the IBF, and he went for David Lemieux. Okay, after that is when Billy Joe Saunders beat Andy Lee, right? So that next year, real quick, you had Billy Joe Saunders. They offered Billy Joe Saunders about 1.2 to 1.4 million to fight, which didn't happen. He ended up fighting Kell Brook. He beat Kell Brook. He had every major title in the middleweight division but the WBO. And he didn't go after Billy Joe Saunders to become undisputed. That's just, for
that was my gripe too. I understand that gripe. I understand Billy.
And then you had the other instance where, you had the little scenario with Canelo Alvarez, which the second fight wasn't as originally scheduled in May. And he had his choice of fighters, and he ended up fighting Vanes Martirosyan instead of Andrade or Derevyanchenko at the time. And I'm like, why would he go ahead and fight somebody that was inactive at 154 for about 2.5 years? That didn't make sense to me. So
now, how close off the Canelo fights was that again?
Nah, they fought Vanes because the Canelo rematch was like 4 months away. That's all it was. They were not gonna. You take an L, that rematch is gone.
Yeah.
I still go ahead and take that fight. I still go ahead and take that fight. Like, I mean, but here's the thing, though. Here's the thing,
Us
though.
fans would, but not pro boxers. They're not.
Okay, but then after that, after he lost to Canelo, did he go after Charlo? Did he go after Andre? Did he go after any of those guys? No, he didn't.
He's still chasing Canelo.
Come on, man.
For what? For what?
He's still chasing Canelo, dog.
For what? He's not gonna get Canelo for until 2022 or 2023. Good luck to him.
Well, also, you got to remember he older now. It's not like he was his whole highlight reel. He was older. He was already older.
That Derevyanchenko fight showed me some shit. Showed me that he's starting to get hurt now.
Yeah, he's a little older, and it's like if you're going to be taking fights, you're either going to take guys that you can put your hands on them, or you're going to take the biggest money fight you got. Why, what is he now, 37?
Around like 37,
38, somewhere around there.
If
at this point, why is Charlo the name? Huh?
If my boy Pacquiao can take a risk against Keith Thurman, then hey, why can't Golovkin go ahead?
Yeah, but you just said it's a risk, and everybody weighs that risk a little bit different. It's good because Manny Pacquiao did it, but Pacquiao is different. He's been laid out a couple times. What's worse that could happen to him? All the bad shit that already happened to Pacquiao. So it's easy for him to take one of these young, hungry motherfuckers. But if he get laid out again, it's just whatever. Triple G ain't never been laid out like that, and he don't want to be laid out like that. Not at no 37.
Oh, but
With
we
your
want to
ass
see
beat.
it. That's the problem. We want to see it.
But why y'all want to? All right, I get it. But you
Hey,
gotta
I want to
understand
see Triple G and Big Charlo. That would be the shit.
that
Yeah,
would have been
I
his
do
shit
too.
4 years ago. Triple G old man.
Hey,
He
but
can't.
I don't know,
Man.
man. Hey, I think he would put hands on Charlo. But
I'm
it'd be
not saying
interesting
he
if
can't
Charlo
put
could catch him
hands on it,
first.
but
Yeah, I
that
mean,
chin,
it's
your chin get old overnight. Your
yeah.
You know what
That's
I
the
chin
mean?
get
thing with
old
Charlo.
overnight.
Charlo is not like somebody that is top of the line as far as like either offense or defense. So you know that he has openings. So with that being said, yes, that gives Gennady Golovkin a chance that he could beat Charlo. But my thing is that we haven't really seen that type of a matchup from Gennady Golovkin.
But
And
be
I'm
honest,
like,
if Gennady goes in there and let's just say has a competitive decision win against Charlo, what does it do for him?
What do you
it
mean?
puts. What do you mean?
That'll be
I'm
his
saying,
best.
I'm
That'll be his
At
best
least,
win.
yeah, that would be it. Would be his best win.
his best win.
Yep, it would.
Think about it.
No, his best win was his draw against Canelo.
Bro,
Oh,
hey,
come on.
he's gonna wait it out for the Canelo fight, dog. He's not gonna fight no Charlo. He's gonna wait for the Canelo fight. Point
That's what I'm
blank.
saying. It's like if he
It
beats
don't matter how long
Charlo,
it comes.
in terms of his career, if he beats Charlo, when we look at his career, we're not looking at Charlo ain't gonna even be a factor to anyone except for the hardcore fans and his peers. That's not
But
that's a legacy fight for motherfuckers like us. That's not for him. He don't care about
okay,
that.
but yeah, but
Hmm.
like Brandon said, I mean, what do you hold as his highest win? A draw against Canelo Alvarez? I mean,
He won that fight.
that really.
He won that fight. He won that
Oh,
fight.
come on,
He
man.
clearly
We
won
we
that
we
fight.
know we know what the result is on the record books. It says
No, I
draw
understand what
one.
I understand that. That I do understand.
Hey guys, I gotta sign off, man. I gotta get to work and talk to these idiots, man. My
Hey
bad.
B, real fast,
Yeah,
just one minute, so we
but
can our second topic. Does race attribute to style?
yes.
Why is this a question?
Everybody, you gotta ask. Come on, that's the
There's
topic.
exceptions to the rules.
Everybody
There's
get
guys that don't box like certain like their race, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? There's certain guys that that are like that.
Because
Not
they weren't
every black
trained by
fighter's
him.
slick, not every Mexican fighter's a brawler. You know what I'm saying? There's guys that are exceptions to the rules, but there is a specific style that in a certain gym or area, state, country, wherever you're at, that they train and they show you how to fight. You know what I mean? Like when I was trying to be an amateur here in San Antonio, like it wasn't so much. I was at a good gym. I was at San Fernando gym, which is a good gym. There's a lot of pro boxers out of there, but it was a real good. Like it was all close to Miguel's Cotto style is what they were teaching us. Like hands up all the time. Every time you throw your left jab, have your right hand up. You know what I'm saying? Like defense. You know what I'm saying? But there's I've been at other gyms where shit, you got guys just sparring every day, going at it like you know what I'm saying, like dogs. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you've been to Philly before,
Say it again.
huh? I said you've been to Philly, huh?
Man, so it's just like and really Jamil, getting back to the point that I was trying to make, guys fight their style so much too and who they're fighting. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not no pro or no amateur stand, nothing like that. But when I had my fights and stuff like that, I've had fights where, like I said, I've hit a guy and it don't do nothing, and he hits me, and I'm like, oh shit, here I am on my bicycle. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And then there's guys that I've fought where I hit them, and then they're on their bicycle, and then I'm on their ass. You know what I'm saying? So there's different ways. People fight different ways. Just like when Floyd fought Gotti, he was on his ass. But when he fought Pac, he knew he had to box. He wasn't gonna mix it up with him and be stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then if you start fighting him, you give that you're basically, if you fight Pacquiao, you're fighting his fight, and you're not, you know what I'm saying, you're more than likely not gonna come out on top. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna flat out fight him. Like it's just not gonna go well for you.
Floyd will whoop that ass no matter
Hey,
what he did.
Dev.
Yeah.
So there's a second part to that question.
Yes, sir.
Which is the deciding factor? The race or the environment when it comes to the style of a fighter?
They
And that's for all the panel.
all right, so you
Race.
know, but when it's a weird separation to make because again, in certain environments, you're gonna have predominantly certain races. So that's like that just is what it is. It's like you're not gonna get trained to fight like somebody from Philly and start shoulder rolling if you in my style. Like you're not gonna learn that shit. Even if you got 4 black dudes over there, you ain't gonna learn that shit. That's not how you gonna learn. You're gonna learn how to fight the Russian system. This is what it is. But yes, they do have very specific
Uh-oh,
schools of boxing.
Mr. Uber's on live right now.
Hey Matt, are you in an Uber right now, man?
Yo, listen. The only thing I know is that Anthony Joshua don't know how to dunk a basketball, and Anthony Joshua don't know how to move his head. So we can't say it's really race. It's just the region where you at. Um, these guys. If you're an East Coast fighter, you already know how it's gonna be. They're gonna be.
Okay, so
They're gonna
but
be.
here's
Huh?
another thing. Outside of Europeans, heavyweights never display those type of specific styles.
Yeah, but what black European displays the slick style? Nobody. They all stiffer than an ironing board, man. None
Oh
of them
shit!
move their head. You know, it's just where you from, man. It's just straight up and down, no special effects, as Floyd would say. So to me, I think it's more environment. The only place where race really plays a factor is, I would say, the athletic ability, because there's just some things that we can do that these motherfuckers can't do. Okay, it just is what it is. It don't matter how much you teach them. It don't matter where they're from. There are just some things that a lot of these other guys can't do that we can do, because we got flavor. Like, like, it just is what it is, man.
Oh, this
You
screen is
know,
getting pulled down so quick.
listen, the Black American is the greatest species of human being to ever walk the earth. Okay, sorry, Pauline Lamalanaji. It's
You
not the
took it
Eastern
there though?
European. It's the Black American. Okay, so to me, I think that's why you see that people say, "Oh, the black style is too boring," because if you got a black American that's top level, top of the game, we make it look too easy, so they are bored. They're like, it's too easy, Like, even Canelo, who doesn't even have really a Mexican style, he has like a little bit of everything. When he faced that style against Floyd, he looked like an amateur. It made it look too easy. So the top level of athlete, combined with the the training and the dedication, it can't be beat when you put all that into a black American. It just can't. It just won't be beat. So you got your, and we nastier. Like, we got that dog, man. Look what happened when who was the Lithuanian guy Bud fought? Mean Machine. Mean Machine thought he was doing something, and Bud was like, "Oh, you really want to fight?" And then Bud just dogged him out and got him out of there. It is what it is. We have the greatest combination of anything you can ask for an athlete, and they hate to see it. That's why they call it boring.
All right. So you said a lot. All right. I would describe every style or every culture has its strength and its weaknesses, right? So, with the Mexican guys, strong chin, really good power. Foot speed isn't always quite there. And then you got the Eastern European or the European, where really strong guys, normally big, but kind of rigid, upright, but great power.
No, it's two different. It's two different.
Well,
Maybe
you're
even
right. There's two different types of European.
almost three, because now the Ukrainian guys are showing they got their own style over there too.
Yeah.
So
Ukrainian guys got kind of like a hybrid style where they can move and
they can
punch.
move. The Russian, and obviously the Russian system has produced multiple, like, just a history of world champions, especially anything above 154. They've done really well. So
Puerto Rican guys are very twitchy, good power. Cuban
Puerto Rican,
guys
Puerto
are
Ricans
very quick.
Puerto Ricans got that from Americans though. They got the 1-2-3 system from Americans, and once they took that back over to Puerto Rico, that's why they all fight like that, and that's why everything ends on that three, on that whip. Everything ends on the three. That's why you can't name a Puerto Rican legend outside of Hector Camacho that wasn't known for their left hook. You can't get one. You can't find one. And the only reason you can talk about Hector Camacho is because he's a fucking southpaw. But that's the thing. They sit the 1-2-3. Cubans obviously have more weight on the back heel. They turn off, but those are all different styles based on them trying to dismantle the Americans all through those early years. They just couldn't figure it out.
How would you describe the? All right, so we covered the Eastern European. How would you describe Western Europe?
What, the Western European?
Western European style.
So you mean the straight up and down ones, the ones the Scousers use?
The UK, the German,
The
French.
well, see, they have the textbook style. It's just textbook. Everything is textbook. If you wanted to teach a person how to box and you wanted them to be like, this is how you box properly, that's what you would teach them to do. Hands up at all times, chin locked in, shoulders high. Make sure you can move in and out, move side to side. The problem with that is that works real well in amateur, but you can't do that as a pro as successfully when you get to the highest levels. It's a very good mid-tier style as a pro. And you're going to see guys ranked up till number 3, number 4 that can do that style. You're going to see guys win championships like that. Callum Smith was like that. His younger brother was like that. Anthony Crowler was like that. You got plenty of guys that can do it. But the thing is, you don't have vision in that style because you can't see in the high guard. It doesn't matter in the amateur style because you got headgear anyway. Your peripherals already cut. Once you become a pro and people start whipping around that guard and stepping behind you, and you don't know how to see, that's why you just see literally get fainted, stay in place, and motherfucker wind up behind them. Okay. They never adapt that style to have to face that. Like if you look at when Anthony Crowler fought Jorge Linares, who's a very strong fighter, even though Linares whooped his ass, he was still able to make it look competitive because it was still a in front of you type of fight. The second Lomachenko stepped around, he slept him. You feel me? Put him face down in the dirt. And that's just the style. He literally, you can't see the shots coming off the peripheral.
JR.
You.
What do you think is more important, race or environment when it comes to style? Because Dev gave us a full package of all the styles and
because I'm a nerd with this shit
and how they relate.
I think it's more about environment because I mean you could have one particular style, and I know that a lot of people kind of point to the whole Mexican style and that type of stuff for like maybe the like brawler style or things like that, but like sometimes it's environment because you bring up multiple examples of someone like someone that comes out of Philly or someone that comes out of Detroit or someone that comes out of New York and they have a style on their own where it's not necessarily like coming forward or anything like that. They could have a certain style to where they're like more defensive, whether it's Philly style with a lot of fighters from Philly, or like somebody like Tony Harrison, who's more of like a boxer. He's more of like a boxer, but coming out of Detroit, and you see how like a lot of the people out of those gyms, they don't necessarily have that type of a style that Tony Harrison has, but they still are very well known for having something of their own. So Tony Harrison has his style. You have Floyd Mayweather out of Michigan coming, with his style too. So it kind of, it just kind of depends on the environment. Like everybody's not like for Mexico, right? You had Juan Manuel Marquez. He's not necessarily somebody that fights the Mexican style. He's one of the greatest counter punchers in the game. You know,
Yes, he was.
uh,
Absolutely.
he learned how to adapt and learn defense and how to parry punches and stuff like that. And people bring up Canelo. Canelo's developing that particular style too right now.
Yeah,
Is how to be a great counter puncher.
but exceptions can't be the rule. Exceptions can't be the rule though. Like, yeah, we're gonna have a bunch of guys that's exceptions, but we talking about the majority of guys, which is based out of that environment. And that environment is going to have normally one type of race predominantly. That just is if you in Puerto Rico, you're gonna be Puerto Ricans. Even if you in Texas, if you in Texas, you're gonna fight way different than a guy from Philly.
I noticed something about Texas fighters. They are very straight up and down. They're 6 o'clock.
Yes,
strong, really
durable,
power.
walk you down.
Like no special effects. None.
Which is weird because if you look at the history of boxers from Texas, and a lot of trainers from Texas, they were a bit more. I'm not saying that they were like Floyd Mayweather shoulder rope. They're a little bit more slick. You had guys with the slip slide coming out of there. I'm surprised that it's evolved into this very hard nose. They almost fight like Puerto Ricans now down in Texas. They fight very straight, tight elbow, whipping that left hook, and it's interesting that's what's coming out now in Texas in the last decade. I'm very surprised. That's the more prominent thing.
Earl Spence and the Charlos are like
androids.
Yeah.
They fight like androids. They fight like they drink nothing but muscle milk and keep their elbows tight, and they dare you to fight back.
I wanted Brandon to stay on because I wanted to have a conversation about where the Mexican style comes from, because I feel like each race has a style. And Dev, do you know the history of the black style?
The black stop?
The black style. The African
Do I
American.
know the history of the black style?
Yeah.
What through coming down through, you mean once we developed that twitch and the pullbacks and the rollers and step offs and shit like that? That come from
just everything.
That come down from Joe Gans, Jack Johnson. Obviously, Joe Louis became, just technically one of the best boxers in terms of putting that all together offensively. And as it just trickled down, see, the thing about the quote unquote black fighters, that athletic style that we known for having, is that, and I hate to use the term video game character, but it really is what it is black fighters have the athletic ability to mimic all of it easily. The only thing I don't like is that most black fighters don't have a system when they fight. Mexican style fighters have a system. They have a when someone does this, they do that. When they do this, they do that. You feel me? And I'm not saying this for all black fighters.
You said kind of basically like a paint by numbers type of thing, where black guys are more freestyle.
And that's the problem sometimes. And you see that is when you look at some of the guys who are the best, they normally would train from the crib a specific style. Look at Andre Ward. From the crib, specific style, slip slide, Virgil Hunter. You look at the Michigan shoulder roll, real from the crib type of shit. When you see a lot of some other guys, is very much they freestyling but have the athletic ability and they have the fight sense. That's the one thing I will say. I'm not going to get on and say that athletically we're just, I think percentage wise we're the best, but as athletes we don't have every belt, so clearly we're just not the number. We're the percentage wise, but that's not the only thing. I think black fighters have the best fight sense because we're so used to having to freestyle against each other. And when you grow up against other supremely athletic kids who have the type of reflexes that you won't even see at the top level of pros, and you see the type of shit every day, and you got to make certain type of adjustments, you got these kids that literally don't need coaches. And this is nothing against, and Bozy got a system. I know this for sure. I've trained Bozy.
Yeah.
But if you sent Boots out there with no coach for 12 rounds, he'll still be half of the world champion.
I mean, I agree. I look at different styles. Like Mexicans, I feel like they make the most out of their ability.
Yeah, right? But Mexicans can't change. They can't change their stuff. One of the things I love about one of my favorite fighters to watch, just because it's simple and it's to the point, is Mikey Garcia. I love Mikey Garcia. He's one of those fighters that if you want to teach somebody how to, just good ass boxing with no frills, look at Mikey Garcia. But here's the thing: Mikey can't adjust on the fly. He doesn't have that ability just on the fly at all.
Because he ain't got no flavor. when he fought somebody with flavor, he got shut up. He ain't got no flavor. Like he ain't got that boogie, man. Like,
he ain't got no Tio, no nothing.
Like you made
Tio got some boogie now. Tio got some.
Well, where Tio from? Tio, born in Brooklyn, and he came out of the gyms in Broward County in Florida, where he's fighting all these black styles. That's probably why his daddy's so racist. He probably saw his son getting his ass beat by all these niggas every motherfucking day. But it made him better. It made him better.
You a wild man.
Hey, yo. He hit with the Paulie Malignaggi species. Come on, man. Your boy, man.
Yo, it's been some great Italian fighters, man.
Listen, I'm just keeping it real, man. We know who the best athlete is in every sport, even in that Neanderthal sport, UFC. Who's the man?
Cut him off. Why you call us Neanderthals?
Come on, man.
Why you call us Neanderthals?
It's getting spicy on here.
Don't hit him with the Bob Arum talk.
It's spicy here. I'm gonna let y'all have it out.
I'm not the one.
I'm gonna let y'all have it out. Go ahead.
Ain't nothing to have out.
We got Philly MMA and we got New York boxing, man.
What's your gripe against MMA?
It's trash. It's not good to watch. It's just a bunch of skinhead white guys watching other guys that look like skinhead white guys rolling around like a bunch of homosexuals.
You haven't seen homosexuals. You ain't seen a skinhead white guy. Predominantly in the top 20 cut. Blacks, Mexicans, Asians. So you ain't seeing those skinhead white guys if you actually watching it on TV.
Yeah, that's because the best athletes are starting to take over, and
What you mean
now they
what you
mad,
mean starting to take over? It's
huh?
been black. It's been the best athletes start to. What you mean starting to take over?
Well, I don't think MMA is a fully developed concept or sport yet.
How is
I
it not a
think
fully developed concept of
I
sport?
don't agree with that. I
How
don't agree.
not?
because it's always evolving. All
Yeah,
right,
it's always evolving, but a fully developed concept, a sport.
well, because you have to go back to why do we have MMA? Do you remember why MMA was developed?
Yeah, 100%. It was developed by Helion Grace so we could see which one of the styles were going to be more dominant. And they wanted to show that grappling, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, was going to be the dominant style against everything else boxing, kickboxing, etc. And if you put men in a cage and it was the actual fight, not Queensberry rules, an actual fight, what style would actually win a fight? And we found out that jujitsu was the strongest thing. If you could take a guy down
No,
and
it's not. Jiu-Jitsu is not stronger than wrestling. Come on now.
so first of all, I'm giving you a history lesson. Sit down real quick. You can't say that it wasn't the strongest at the time because the same person won the first four,
But
and he
like
was
I said, it's ever
listen,
evolving. Let me
listen,
explain to
listen,
you.
listen. We
Let,
still,
let,
well, I'm still going. Once wrestlers figured out jujitsu, then they were able to even the playing field because they could choose whether they were going up or if they wanted to take someone down, if they wanted to stay up. Once strikers, boxers, kickboxers, etc., figured out that they could keep these wrestlers off of them, then they start dominating. And that's how the cycle always turns. Right now, everyone can always say wrestling is the strongest. Everyone can always say wrestling is the strongest. Wrestling is a strong sport. I mean, it's strong in MMA because you learn how to grind. In MMA, the grind is one of the more important things. But if you actually look at guys who are dominating MMA at the top level through their wrestling, the numbers are embarrassing.
so here's the thing about MMA, okay, and why I don't care for it. If you took a boxer, right? Say
Yep.
like I boxed in high school and in college, stuff like that, right? And then
Mhm.
I stopped boxing for years, let's say a decade. Do you think that I can just go right into boxing and win a world title within a year?
No, you ain't
Brock
doing that.
Les-
No.
Brock Lesnar did that in MMA. Okay,
First
this
of all,
this guy was an
first of all,
amateur
that's
wrestler
wrong.
in
First of all,
college, an amateur wrestler in college,
National
okay.
champion.
stopped wrestling.
Okay, no. First of all, that's false.
He did
Brock
stop wrestling.
Lesnar, no, 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 false. He stopped competing in wrestling, but he was still training in Milwaukee with Chris Tusker and his entire camp. Secondly, he had been training MMA for 4 years prior to that. Had took losses as an amateur, took a loss as a pro, and then worked his way back up. Not only that, he came back in the worst heavyweight division we've ever had. He got he got three fighters put in front of him that were actually good, and he didn't look good. He lost
No,
the
no, no,
second
no, no,
one.
no. The only reason, see, this is why I have to educate you. The only reason why he didn't look
How
so
you
good in
going?
his second comeback was because he had the intestinal disease that really affected his strength and his
Okay, we're not
training.
talking about his second comeback. He fought Cain Velasquez, who was the first fighter that he actually fought that people said he's going to probably lose to. And because Cain was a real fucking fighter, like he was a really good fighter, not someone who was a okay fighter, who was also past his prime. If you looked at the people he actually beat, if you looked at people that he actually beat, his best win was against Shane Carwin, who whooped his ass, gassed out, and then Brock got a good takedown, a good submission. He leaned on his wrestling. That's a very good thing. And Randy Couture, who was whooping his ass, and he clipped Randy behind the head with a good shot. Randy is also a light heavyweight.
Yeah, but
Let's make
what does that mean? You sound like a guy that says, "Oh, well, somebody was outboxing
no,
Deontay Wilder until they got knocked the fuck out." You either
no,
win or
that's
you
not no.
lose. The fight is
First
the
of all,
length
first of
that it
all,
is.
it's
Whatever
no. First
happens
of
in
all,
between then
you're
is what
not
happens in
listening.
between then.
You're talking mid sentence, and you're not listening. First off, it's not the same. It would be the same if he was fighting people who were way out of their prime and they got clipped. You still get the credit for the win, but the win doesn't weigh as heavy. When you finally fought a guy who was good, who they said this is going to be your challenge, he got beat so bad that he had a little mini retirement. He came up out of
Brock
it.
Lesnar was the world heavyweight champion, right, in UFC.
Yes,
So you're telling me that Brock Lesnar won the UFC heavyweight title, where the best always fights the best, by fighting nobody good?
yes, because that was the worst
Wow.
heavyweight division.
Wow.
This is how. No, listen.
Wow.
I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you. No, you can look this up. Look up what Dana White said right before he fought Randy Couture. He said, "I hope this is the fight that saves the heavyweight division."
Where the best
He's the
fights the best.
he's the promoter. There were no heavyweights. It wasn't no heavyweights.
So
It's
Fedor Emelianenko didn't exist. He was dead.
Fedor. First of all, Fedor wasn't in the UFC,
But I
and
was
that was
under the impression that the UFC is where the best fight the best. Isn't that the whole mantra of the whole thing?
yeah, but they didn't have the best heavyweight. And when they
Oh,
tried to make no, look, first off, and when they tried to make the fight, Fedor wouldn't take it. They've been trying to get Fedor for years, but Fedor never wanted to come over to the UFC because he knew it would happen to him. And then
wait.
when
So Fedor didn't want to come to the UFC because he knew what would happen to him, not because they pay people peanuts and he could make more fighting where he was fighting at. That is that
he
what you're saying?
actually, when they wanted him to fight Randy Couture, they gave him his goddamn money. He said he wanted to fight Randy in Affliction. That was the second thing he wanted to do, and he didn't. Randy said, "I'm not fighting you in Affliction." That
Hold,
was the
hold on one
biggest.
second.
That was the only thing.
Hey, Deb, hold on one second.
Regardless of this, when you look at Brock Lesnar, you're looking at a freak athlete. You're looking at a freak athlete heavyweight who was already training with a great team, who had one of the strong. He was one of the best heavyweight collegiate wrestlers, top three in history. It'd be one thing if you said, yeah, he came in off the street and he had did it in 10 years and he just won the heavyweight title. It's like, no, he had been training. He fought bad guys. Then he worked his way up the ladder and he won. Was it a short period of time? Yeah, because it was
Did he win the UFC heavyweight title within like
yeah,
a
but
year?
Hey,
no, like 2
hey,
years,
hey,
two and a
Deb,
half years.
Deb, one second, real fast. Hey, Marky Jones, you say that right? Who is you want to see Charlo fight a top guy? Well, Charlo's beating Julian Williams and Sergey Defranchenko. Those are good
Yeah,
guys. Who did
great.
Anthony Yurden beat? Who did Rocky Fielding beat? Who did Liam Walsh beat? Who did Billy Joe? Who's Billy Joe beating? Chris Eubanks?
And
Like,
David Lemieux.
come on. You can't say that Charlo doesn't deserve a Canelo fight. He does.
Yeah.
He does. But
Yeah, but
uh
back to that argument. What does that have to do with you liking I mean giving credit or validating MMA for because a freak athlete won a title and then got his ass whooped out of the sport?
Because that just shows me that I'm not watching the top level of athlete. That's what that tells me. Because
So
I don't
you would never see
wait,
that
wait,
in
I don't
boxing.
wait.
You'll never see that in boxing.
Didn't Vasil Lomachenko won a world title in what his third fight, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Okay. In his third fight, right? Isn't Vasily Lomachenko was one of the greatest amateurs ever, right?
Correct.
Brock Lesnar
Well,
is one of
supposedly, I don't think he's one of the
Brock,
greatest
wait,
amateurs.
Brock Lesnar is one of the greatest amateurs ever. This is factual.
Yeah, but he didn't jump directly into UFC after his amateur
No,
career.
but let me tell you, just because professional wrestling is choreographed doesn't mean he was on the couch. He was,
No,
he was active. He was, he was
Listen,
active.
you don't have to tell me about professional wrestling.
no. I mean, he was still training in MMA before, though. It's not like he was new to it.
Yeah,
He
but
was new.
I'm saying regardless or not, he was still he was still an active athlete.
Absolutely, he's one of the freakiest athletes ever. Even in pro wrestling, he's one of the freakiest athletes ever.
Callum
You
Smith
show me
can give
you show me a
Charlo
heavyweight in any.
problems.
You can't show a heavyweight in any sport that can do what he can do athletically, black or white. You just can't find a heavyweight that can do what he can do.
Callum Smith wasn't unified, B810. He held the ring title, which I don't consider a real belt.
That's
And
correct.
yeah, he was the WBA. Yeah, he wasn't unified.
Yeah, he wasn't unified.
How did this go into an MMA conversation?
Because he said it's not a real sport. It's
Because
an
Dev
real sport.
was offended that I had the nerve to besmirch the the name of UFC and MMA.
Of mixed
It
martial
made, but
arts.
it still makes no sense though.
Maybe not to you, but it
To
makes
be,
sense to me, and
to
I
be
ain't interested.
honest,
But
I'm,
that's objective
I
versus
ain't interested either.
subjective.
to be honest, I'm a boxing guy, right? But I feel like that might be the purest sense of fighting, being that it's every style.
Yeah, that's the
Every
point
style
of
is present.
that's the point of MMA. It's we're going to see who the best fighter is.
Yeah. So
One of the
for
best
me,
things,
yeah.
one of the one things that I respected from Conor when he stood in front of Floyd was when they announced Floyd as the best fighter in history, and he checked him and said, "No, he's the best boxer in history." But me and him go outside right now. He doesn't last 60 seconds. That's the truth. That just is what it is. And that's not a shot towards boxing. Obviously, I'm boxing historian. I love it. Love it. What it's playing right now in the background. That's the light that's in my face. But we're trying to see who the best fighter is on the planet.
The
The
best fighter
purest.
is the guy with the gun. I ain't never see nobody fight like UFC fighters fight. You either knuckling it up or or you getting a hot one. I ain't never see none of this. Oh, let me shoot for the leg. Let me do the nah. That's not
Bro,
fighting
even in
to me.
the bro,
That's
come
not
on,
fighting
man.
to me.
Bro, in the hood, we slam the shit out of each other. That's a go-to. What are you talking about? You telling me
If you're
you ain't
not
never
if your
you
hands
telling me
ain't
you
efficient,
huh?
I
What?
said if your hands ain't efficient, dudes been slamming guys since the beginning of time.
Putting them straight in the concrete. You ain't never,
Yo,
bro. My hand's been lethal since I was 5, and I still slam niggas through that fucking concrete.
But
You
do
gonna
you
see
shoot for the
shaking
leg?
today,
Do you
huh?
shoot for the leg? Do you shoot for the
Absolutely,
leg?
absolutely. I'm
you say
hitting
I,
Canelo,
wow.
straight,
you said
straight for
Canelo is
the.
the best
Since I
fighter?
was 6 years
Nah.
old, once I picked the dude up off his legs, and I held him in the air, and I felt him just sitting there, just feeling like a little bitch in the air. He couldn't do nothing about it, and I put him through a car window. You can't tell me. I told every young bull from 56th Street how to wrestle. And they whooped every nigga ass that tried to come on my block. You better stop playing with me.
Yo, y'all dudes are hilarious.
Now, why is this guy saying that Charlo doesn't deserve a Canelo fight though? I
That's
don't
I don't
understand
retarded.
that.
understand that.
Who is this?
Huh?
Hey
I
yo,
said,
yo,
first of all, they said,
let's keep it a
buy
bean.
10.
If
Buy 10.
if
Let me
somebody
reply
hit
to
you
buy
with a
10.
leg kick, That should have changed your
Wait,
life.
wait, wait. Let me reply to Biotin real quick. Boxer Ray Mercer knocked out UFC legend Tim Sylvia. Tim Sylvia is not a UFC legend. That's number one. He held the heavyweight title where he literally fought a guy who didn't have a left pectoral. That's how bad the UFC heavyweight division was at one point.
But he held the heavyweight title.
Yeah, but that doesn't make you a legend.
Oh man.
Is John Ruiz a legend then? Is John Ruiz a legend?
I guarantee you.
Hey.
Is John Ruiz a legend?
I guarantee you there is not an MMA fighter that can step in a boxing ring and John Ruiz and beat him. He'll whoop his ass. John Ruiz will whoop his ass.
Hey, Charles Martin. Charles Martin is not only a legend, but he's a god.
Oh my God.
That's not true. That's not true. I feel like Rampage in their prime, Rampage had enough boxing ability to beat John Ruiz.
Oh hell no. Oh my God.
I think John Ruiz is garbage.
Hey, listen. John Ruiz might be garbage in terms of boxing the upper echelon, but listen, I saw a video today of some high school kid challenging Brian Scalabrine to a basketball game. Okay, and he got his ass bust. Brian Scalabrine, yeah, he played 10 years, but he's known as a scrub in the NBA. But it's a different level when you've been doing this for so many years. It's just a different level.
How tall is Rashard?
Who?
Dev. How tall is Rashard?
Rashad?
Yeah.
Rashad who?
Light heavyweight. Who
Rashad Evans?
Rashad Evans?
Yeah, how tall is Rashad Evans?
When was the last time you watched MMA, bro?
Recently.
Rashad Evans fought at light heavyweight. Rashad Evans fought at light heavyweight.
Yeah, no, I'm asking.
2013. He's a middleweight.
I'm asking how tall he was,
though. 5'9", maybe.
Okay.
He was never like a real light heavyweight. He just was successful there.
Rashard Evans, to me, he had the best hands in the light heavyweight division at that time.
How many pounds is the light heavyweight in MMA?
205.
205. So put Rashard Evans, the best hands in
he didn't
whatever division.
Hands. Yeah,
who had the best hands?
Put him
in the
up.
Division?
Put him up against Deontay Wilder, who people say can't box.
Wait. Okay, that's also a bad argument because Wilder's beating every fucking boxer that they said, and they said he couldn't box. You ain't real good with having strong arguments on the fly, bro. Second, Rashad Evans didn't have the best hands when he got outboxed by Forrest Griffin. He got outboxed by Forrest Griffin. He got outboxed by Chuck Liddell. He caught him. No. You clipped him, but that's okay. Did Deontay Wilder outbox people, or did he clip them? You looking at the end. You ain't looking at the beginning and the middle.
Come on, Dad.
He was clipping dudes, but he wasn't outboxing dudes.
Chuck Liddell was considered to be the best striker in boxing. In MMA at that time. True.
No, at that time he was known to be the best knockout artist because he could dead you with any shot. The best strikers were people like GSP, the Anderson Silva. Those were the best strikers. The BJ Penn. BJ Penn had excellent boxing.
I'm going to give you Anderson Silva, maybe BJ Penn, but I consider GSP like to be a full balanced breakfast.
GSP came in as a karate guy. He was a striker. He was knocking everybody out.
Yeah, we talking about legs and hands though.
Both. He was sleeping dude with his hands and his legs. GSP had beautiful guys. Look when he beat Matt Hughes. Put him down with a check left hook. Look when he beat Josh Koscheck. He won 5 rounds off of a jab.
Let me ask you that. In MMA, is it the same as boxing as far as race and styles over environment?
No, because the people who come to MMA aren't the same people that come to boxing. That's why. Boxing's been here for over 100 years. When you go to a boxing gym, it's much more accessible. If you say MMA, people still confuse UFC and the damn sport itself. So you're not getting that same wide berth. You're normally getting people for one of a different tax bracket that's even sending their kids to your school, so they're much more expensive because you normally got to send them to multiple schools. So it's not a thing. It's about which gym you come out of. That's it. But it's not the same at all. It's not even regional styles. We know you from off of how you fight because that's how your coach used to fight back in the day.
Hey, I can't hear you. You kind of like fading out a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you got like a little echo.
Oh, I don't know why. I was saying that no, that's not how it works in MMA at all. It's not even regional styles in MMA.
You need some headphones, Dev. You
I'm gonna
sounded
hop
good
out.
before. Where you at
I'm gonna
now?
hop out.
Hey, Marky, you feel like race has a lot to do with
Man,
how
it sound
someone
like
fights?
a cleaning service going on or something. Like
Yeah, that's
what's up?
Matt, man. That New York shit.
Oh man, come on, bro.
Matt,
Hear me now?
Yeah.
Matt fucking up
Matt,
the
Matt, Matt
vibe,
out there
bro.
running cleaning services.
Matt fucking
He
up the
running
vibe.
cleaning services out here.
Yeah.
You
For
hear me
me,
now?
yeah, race gives, you know,
Y'all know where I live at, man. Ain't no telling what you gonna hear in my background. Just stop playing with me, man.
race gives athletic gifts. Because like I said, every race is born with certain attributes. But I feel like environment probably shapes fighting style more than anything. Now, because of your race, you might be predisposed to having like a broader base. But we like a dude like Canelo. A dude like Canelo, because of his environment and bringing in quality sparring, he's like adapted to a like hybrid style. Whereas a lot of Mexicans don't have that hybrid style. Like dudes like Juan Manuel Marquez and Oscar really don't fight like traditional Mexican fighters.
Yeah.
And then you got a UK guy like Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly doesn't. Josh Kelly fights like a dude, like his name would be Tyreek Jones.
He fight like he think he can punch. I told everybody he was gonna lose that goddamn fight.
You thought he was gonna lose to David Avenesian? Really?
Yeah, because Davey Adesanya can actually punch. This is a fact of fighting. When you put a guy who's not a puncher but thinks he's a puncher against a motherfucker who's actually a puncher, normally the person who's actually a puncher wins. Daryl Boone made a career off of that shit.
You talking about Darnell Boone?
Darnell Boone made a career off of that. When people think they can punch, you find out real quick that you can't. I won me for 600 that night.
He was doing that shit to punchers though. Kovalov and Adonis, they punchers.
Yeah, that's true. Shout out to Darnell.
Turn off the lights. Light
he
a candle.
He don't get the credit he deserved. He was the PG killer. He was killing all the rookies.
Oh yeah. He put it like this: if your prospect can get past Darnell Boone, he's a fighter.
A lot of
Andre
them did.
Ward, Arislandi Lara. He beat Willie Monroe.
Yep.
He beat Adonis.
He dropped Ward.
He dropped Ward. Yeah. At one time, he had dropped the top 3 light heavyweights in the world. Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev, and Adonis Stevenson.
He don't get the credit he deserved. He was really out here putting in work. They just want to act like he was a regular motherfucker that you could just punch him on. No, you couldn't just come punch on that. You had to have your chin ready for that.
Definitely.
When I was like, but yeah, back to Josh Kelly. I knew that was the best That was the most satisfying $600. I just kept telling he's not it. He's not it. You can't be. Whenever you see guys who think they punchers and they not, it happens to them. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. Josh Kelly could be so much better. He brought his hands back home and worked off of his jab on the radius more. He'd be the shit. And those flashes of brilliance would be different. But see, here's the problem. When you think you can punch and you hit a dude and he don't go nowhere, what you start doing more? Sitting down and trying to hit the dude. And you saw in the fight, when he got hurt, he didn't move away. He just sat there and tried to exchange. Dumbass. Appreciate that $600 though. I needed that.
Can he rebound?
Huh?
Can he rebound?
Can he rebound?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
he can
against,
rebound.
not against a Tunisian.
He could probably win that fight still. I bet against him.
No.
I bet against. Look, man, you heard me. I bet against him. Yeah, I still think he might be able to win that fight when they come back. Just because in that fight, he did show that his speed was a bit much to handle. The thing is, again, he just started sitting down and trying to throw 4 or 5 punch combinations against. It's like you don't hit like that, bro. Get your 2 shots, get your ass on the hill, win your rounds, and that's it. That's it. That's how these kids is. I don't know if you remember, you did an interview with me and Paul a while back, and I was like, Josh Kelly, not it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you called that shit early.
It was just like he not it. Just because he has the same problem most young gifted fighters have when they finishing guys. It's like we got a fighter like that. That's how Sticks is. It's like we try to let Sticks know you not a puncher like that, bro. Like he's our fighter. He's our fighter, and he undefeated, and it's funny because he got 3 he 4-0 with 3 knockouts, but it's like you still actually no, he all knockouts. He finished everybody, but it's like he beating them dudes down because after a couple rounds get tipped on the chin, it started to add up, especially when you tired and he landing clean. But that's not like. That's not you being a puncher. A puncher is when I punch you in your goddamn forehead, even though you fresh and you strong and your knees still buckle. That's when you a puncher. If people not saying you gotta avoid that right hand or you gotta avoid that left hook, when people look at you and part of their game plan is to avoid a shot, you not a puncher.
You fading out.
So when people game plan against you and their game plan isn't avoiding,
Is that Matt?
Yeah,
Matt,
that's him.
you're killing me, Matt.
Fuck Josh Kelly.
Man, Matt out there buying stuff at the bodega.
Matt, what are you doing, yo? I thought y'all was locked down.
I'm selling drugs, man. Leave me alone. I'm outside.
He watching MMA fights in the alleyway and shit. He's like, look at him, fucking UFC legend out here on the ground, rolling around.
But you know who reminds me of what you said about Josh Kelly? This guy Ammo Williams. He gonna get his ass clipped real soon because he's not a good finisher. You know, every time he thinks he got somebody hurt, he be fucking up trying to finish him. and he gonna get himself clipped trying to finish
And this,
somebody.
and he finishes so his like first he wanna throw flurries while he crowding his own flurry, and he throwing the flurries light. It's like, why are you throwing 20 punches light, but then covering your own work? His last fight, he was getting touched as he was trying to finish. It's like, bro, calm the fuck down. Yeah, you're right. I see him getting slept badly. There's a lot of those young guys are like that. Shit, I'm hoping Ray Savage don't be like that. That's my dog. I'm really hoping he don't be like that. He can punch, but he ain't no he in his head. What the announcers tell him is, you gonna knock out everything. And it's just like, but you hit people clean and they don't always go down. You should probably accept the fact that you're not the biggest puncher. You feel me? That's not a bad thing. Why do I gotta be the biggest knockout guy?
Yo, I'm gonna ask y'all one last question, and then we gonna head out. Right?
Word.
We watched Virgil Ortiz finish off Maurice Hooker.
Yeah.
And now people are calling for him to fight Terence Crawford. To me, Jaron Ennis mows him down. I don't even think it'd be too hard. What's your thoughts?
Easy.
Boots too fast.
Boots to everything for him. His literally everything Boots do beats everything he does.
Yeah.
It's like, even if in a perfect situation, what would Virgil Ortiz need him to do? Ortiz would need Boots to stand there and high guard, and essentially it would need to be a Mexican style fight. Well, here's a news flash, Virgil. If you ever wind up listening in, if you stand in front of Boots, even Mexican style, you got 4 rounds before Boots sleeping. That boy a different animal.
Yeah, talk about straight up and down, no special effects. That's
Marky Jones. Listen to me. Boots punches harder than Virgil Ortiz. It just doesn't look. It's just not highly publicized because he's doing a lot of fancy, a lot of crafty, slick shit. He punches harder than Virgil Ortiz. He's going to stop that shit.
Every dude that wasn't going, that never been stopped before, fight Boots, get hit twice, and then fold. I don't understand how people not recognizing his power. He's smoking these dudes. He beating the shit out of them. He folding these dudes. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's like a thing to like try to negate, like, he ain't did this, he ain't did that. It's like he beat the shit out of everybody embarrassingly. They put in front of him. What more do you want the boy to do? He will fuck Virgil up. He said Boots look a lot like J-Rock to me coming up. No, they don't got the same type of fight sense, the same type of speed. But defensively, J-Rock was never as sound as Boots.
Well, to me, if Virgil wants to fight Crawford, let him fight Crawford.
Yeah,
let
I understand.
The young boy get what he wants.
Are you in a project hallway?
Huh?
Are you in a project hallway?
Talking about
man,
how
listen.
I know what a project hallway sounds like.
I gotta cut this short, man.
I know what a project hallway sounds like, yo.
I gotta cut this short, man.
I was like, come on.
My man got the door swinging. I fuck with him.
I appreciate you for having me, Jamil. I'm holler at you.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he in a project hallway. You heard that step?
Wow.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you heard them steps, man. Like, yo, you heard them steps that echo when you go up this.
Ain't nothing like high rise echo, that reverb in them hallways of them high rises.
Yeah.
It's either that or you in a fucking hospital. It's the only two things that sound like that, bro. No.
Yep.
Man out here
going them stairs where where you go up the stairs, it's closed. You got to open the door to go up the stairs.
My man on some shit right now. I'm with it though. I'm with all of it. I support this.
Yeah, Ortiz, man, he'll get that fight against Crawford. That's gonna happen by June or July, late June, July. If he wants to show special effects against Terence Crawford, he'll be a sitting duck.
He's gonna be a sitting duck regardless. He don't got the. It's just It's just defensive awareness. He's an offensive first fighter, and when you gonna get hit in between shots with Bud, and you gonna go down. Bud hit hard as shit. It's weird how hard that little motherfucker hit.
I mean, he goes up against light heavies and stuff like that. Bomac allows him to do that, but he be going up against bigger guys in sparring, and he just has that overall low strength.
Yeah.
So
dude. Also, Matt, I don't know if you forgot, but Terence Crawford wrestled too. So did Lomachenko.
Yeah. Crawford wrestled.
Yeah, so they in a sense they could do MMA.
Yep. Yeah, one dude, one friend that's like over 100 or something like that ran into Terence Crawford. At least Terence Crawford like bumped into him on his blind side, and he tried to like give, and Terence Crawford budge.
Yeah, Terence Crawford a bad man. I don't know. I mean, that's a good money fight, but he believe he can win. I understand Ortiz. He beating the shit out of people. You a highlight reel machine right now. I get it. Go ahead, get that fight, boy. Dare to be great. It worked out for
17
two.
wins, 17 knockouts. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it worked
he
out.
could get 1.2, 1.5 million. They could afford it.
Bob don't fuck with them like that. Bob gonna be like, look, I got 800,000 for you, maybe a bonus if you win. You want it or not?
Virgil Ortiz doesn't draw big numbers. What are you talking about?
Listen, I mean, you didn't have that many people in Texas. That wasn't much of a gate. You didn't really get paid off of fighting freaking Maurice Hooker. Man, Jose Ramirez got more money, and we went to Dallas and beat his ass.
I hate niggers.
Yo, what the fuck is wrong with y'all today? What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
That's what type time Matt got me on. That's what type time he got me on. We gonna play by Barrow. He hate niggas, Jews, and fags. And he take off. He put his little hood on and shit. He cool with the Spaniards because they don't say much and he don't really understand them.
Sure. We gonna sign off on that note. Man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Thank y'all for joining me, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh my God.
I'm out.
Shout out, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Peace.
All right, Dev. All right,
Appreciate
JR,
y'all.
man. Thanks for being on here.